the first time. More than 50 years ago, this organization was the first to create a comprehensive concept of security, bringing in political and military issues together with economic, environmental and human rights issues under the security umbrella. We have, in this organization, established a unique set of strong commitments on freedom of the media and freedom of expression. 20 years ago, the participating states decided to create the only autonomous intergovernmental media freedom institution to help implement their commitments. Today, we are at the largest human rights conference in our region, where 57 states will engage with civil society in a strong and constructive dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing major challenges regarding freedom of the media in the OSCE region. Journalists are threatened, imprisoned, accused of treason and terrorism, and even killed because of their work. The OSCE region holds a dismal world record of over 170 journalists in jail, most of them in one single country. We see in some states the return to political control of public service broadcasters, the economic pressure on the independent press, and the risk of new concentration of media ownership and distribution at the detriment of media pluralism. It's a time of paradox. On the one hand, digital media has created new opportunities for freedom of expression and access to information. But on the other hand, at the same time, we have to tackle fake news, propaganda and manipulation of information to an unknown scale, and in too many countries we see attempts to control the internet or to restrict the access to information. We should not accept this, nor should we accept the idea of a permanent divide between the participating states on freedom of the media, because the commitments belong to all of us. We should aim, on the contrary, to build a new consensus on freedom of the media in the coming years, a consensus on freedom of the media in a time with high security challenges. This organization is uniquely equipped to offer a platform for this. A new consensus is not about creating more promises. It is about refusing the notion that freedom of the media is in contradiction to security or in contradiction to the fight against terrorism. They have to go hand in hand. And it is my firm conviction that freedom of the media does not weaken a society, but reinforces its resilience faced with terrorism and security challenges. There can be no strong society with weak media and weak freedom of the media. As we are facing greater security challenges, we must protect even more the freedom of the media as a core element of the strong and democratic societies we want to build and of the cooperative and peaceful region we want to be. Freedom of expression and freedom of the media creates a space for open debate by all actors of society. Open debate brings better understanding of viewpoints and objectives. Open debate and the ability to hold the powerful to account improves the quality of government by detecting new questions and issues and addressing them. This makes freedom of the media a cornerstone of democracy and of security. Ladies and gentlemen, we have four major priorities of work ahead of us. The first priority is safety of journalists, as it was for my esteemed predecessor Dunja Mijatović. Attacks on journalists are attacks on our own freedom. We have to put an end to impunity of crimes committed against journalists. Impunity is a passport for violence against the press. The second priority is to reconcile freedom of the media and security. We must ensure that anti-terrorism legislation, regulation of the internet and the measure against hate speech are proportionate and designed in conformity with international obligations, and that they don't put at stake freedom of expression and freedom of the media as a whole. Here, unfortunately, there is abuse. Too many media outlets are closed, banned or blocked, and journalists prosecuted under false accusations while they were just doing their job of informing the public. We need to engage with governments on how they can best protect freedoms while guaranteeing security. The third priority is to respond to fake news, disinformation and propaganda for war and hatred. They are dangerous in essence, but they also weaken public trust in the media and often lead to censorship. That's a poison used to combat a poison. We need to combat disinformation without killing information. The best answer to fake news is quality and ethical journalism, self-regulation and media literacy, not censorship. The fourth priority is to preserve and promote pluralism in the digital area. We are confronted with huge concentration of platforms and internet actors. The media landscape is changing very rapidly and profoundly as a result of the digitization of information. We need to ensure that the conditions for pluralism are preserved. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom of the media is both a large aspiration among the citizens of participating states and a fragile reality. It is based on strong commitments in the OSCE, but it's fragile in the new context. It needs legislation, institutions to exist. It needs the protection of the states, but without the states interfering with the content of the media. It is not an easy demand to them, but it is the noble and legal obligation of the state to do so, and it's our duty to call for it. They gave us that very mandate. That's why it's so important to be here with you today, and I'm very much looking forward to working with all of you, the representative of the states and of civil society, on all these issues during this meeting and this afternoon session dedicated to freedom of the media. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Alain. And now let me welcome Ms. Maria